WNBA referees definitely have an agenda against Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever.
In my opinion, it looked like Natasha Cloud probably fouled her. It was not called.
I thought it was egregious, honestly. I mean, I thought it was obvious. I felt like AB got one, had one going to the rim.
Caitlin Clark, the rising face of women's basketball, just hit her breaking point. In a shocking moment on the court, Clark unleashed a furious outburst after what fans are calling blatant disrespect from WNBA referees. Missed calls, unfair treatment, and growing tension have pushed one of the league's brightest stars to speak out. Was it justified? Or did she go too far? Let's break down the controversy, the reactions, and what this means for the future of the WNBA. The breaking point, a star's patience, snaps. Caitlin Clark has been the headline grabber since she stepped onto the WNBA court, lighting it up with her deep threes, floor vision, and unshakable confidence. But even the brightest stars have limits. And for Clark, that limit was crossed when a series of baffling calls, or lack thereof, finally pushed her over the edge. During a recent matchup, the tension between Clark and the officiating crew exploded. Cameras captured the moment she shouted in frustration after being knocked to the floor, again, with no whistle blown. Fans erupted on social media. The question wasn't just why the foul wasn't called, but why Caitlin Clark keeps getting disrespected by the very people responsible for keeping the game fair. This wasn't just heat-of-the-moment frustration. It was the culmination of weeks, arguably months, of overlooked fouls, phantom calls, and what felt like targeted scrutiny. Consistently targeted? A pattern emerges. Clark isn't just any rookie. She's the most hyped player to enter the league in years. But instead of getting the superstar treatment, it seems she's wearing a target on her back. In game after game, the referees have let defenders body her up, deliver unnecessary contact, and even commit hard fouls without consistent consequences. One game saw Clark takes a clear elbow while driving to the hoop. Replay showed contact. Everyone saw it, except the officials. The WNBA prides itself on being a physical league, sure, but Clark's been absorbing hits that would draw whistles 10 times out of 10 if it were a different player. And let's talk about the technical foul she picked up simply for reacting. Arms raised, eyebrows raised, after yet another missed call. That wasn't a tantrum, that was disbelief. And fans, analysts, and even former players backed her up online.
Some controversy on that last play, no doubt about it. In my opinion, it looked like Natasha Cloud probably fouled her. It was not called. The referees love to swallow their
double standards, rookies versus veterans. There's a code in pro basketball. Rookies have to earn their calls. But Clark isn't your average rookie. Her college legacy, ratings impact, and jersey sales prove she's already a face of the league. Yet the refs seem to be sticking to the old school mindset, treating her like she's a nobody trying to make a name. Meanwhile, veterans get away with chirping at refs, dramatic flops, and borderline dirty plays. When Clark so much as questions a call, it's seen as insubordination. This is a double standard, plain and simple, and it's not a good look for the league. You can't build a marketing campaign around a star and then expect her to just take it when she's being mishandled. The fans notice, and so do other players. The gendered layer. Would this happen in the NBA? Let's keep it real. If an NBA rookie phenom, say Victor Wembanyama, was getting hit like this without protection from the refs, there would be a firestorm. ESPN segments, Twitter debates, league memos, you name it. But in the WNBA, the narrative too often gets flipped. She's being emotional. She needs to toughen up. Caitlin's frustration is somehow seen as a character flaw instead of what it really is, a reaction to unfair treatment. This isn't about being soft, it's about demanding respect on the court, not for fame, not for favoritism, but for safety and fairness. A missed call is one thing. A string of no calls and texts for daring to speak up?
On the last play from Caitlin, and on top of that, what did you think of your team's late game execution?
I thought she got fouled. I think it's pretty egregious what's been happening to us the last few games. A minus 31 free throw discrepancy. And I might be able to understand it if we were just chucking threes, but we're not. We're attacking the rim. And the disrespect right now for our team has been pretty unbelievable. So it's disappointing,
That's different. That's systemic. Support from legends, voices rising. What makes this more than just a personal meltdown is the response it triggered. Within hours of Clark's outburst, WNBA legends and current stars took to social media. Tamika Catchings tweeted about the need for officiating consistency. Sue Bird hinted that Clark was right to be pissed. Even NBA players chimed in, some saying, "Let her cook." Others were more direct, asking, "Why's the league letting this happen?" It was clear. Clark's not just whining. She's bringing to light a problem that's been simmering in the league for years. Uneven officiating that often stifles the stars instead of letting them shine. The PR problem. League image at stake. Let's be real. The WNBA is riding a wave of growth, and Caitlin Clark is a huge reason why. Her games draw higher ratings, her merch flies off shelves, and her presence has drawn new eyes to the league. So how does it look when she's getting shoved, ignored, and penalized for speaking up? Not great. This isn't about favoritism, it's about optics. If your biggest star is getting visibly frustrated on a national broadcast and your refs are stone-faced in response, it sends a message, not just to players, but to fans. That message? Sit down and take it. That's not going to fly anymore. Clark's passion, the fire that drives her. You can say what you want about Clark's outburst, but one thing is clear, she cares. Every complaint, every raised eyebrow, every frustrated shout, it all comes from a place of deep competitiveness. She's not here to play a role or smile for cameras, she's here to win. And sometimes that fire spills out. That's what makes her electric. That's what drew fans to her during her Iowa days. And that's what the league must not snuff out with tone-deaf officiating.
About the way that the game's been officiated for you guys, how did you see the foul that was not called, or a lack of foul, on the Bonner play, and then follow it up by Lexi Hull getting called for the foul?
I thought it was egregious, honestly. I mean, I thought it was obvious. I felt like AB got one, had one going to the rim. They're in rotation. DB's was crazy. And then Lexi's, I felt like equally, we talk about, coming into the path, and it was an offensive player veering into the defensive player's path.
White's post-game.
What needs to change? A wake-up call. The WNBA needs to act, and fast. Clear communication between players and refs, accountability for officials, and maybe even league reviews of controversial games should be on the table. The league can't afford to alienate the very person who's helping it grow. Clark doesn't want special treatment. She wants fair treatment. And when that doesn't happen, you're going to hear about it. Not just from her, but from millions watching and waiting for someone to finally say, enough. Clark's blow-up wasn't just a moment, it was a statement. One that echoed from the court to the locker rooms to every living room tuned in. She's not backing down, and if the league is smart, it won't ignore this. Whether you're Team Clark or backing the refs, this moment has ignited a powerful conversation about fairness, favoritism, and the pressures placed on rising stars. One thing's clear, Caitlin Clark isn't staying silent, and neither are her fans. If you think the WNBA needs to address this, hit like, subscribe, and drop your take in the comments. Was this outburst the wake-up call the league needed?